Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. The defense surprised me on Saturday. And I think the way the defense stepped up against John Mateer should give you hope and higher expectations for how they can defend Marcel Reed this Saturday, how they can, match up against Gunner Stockton for Georgia the following week, Bo Prabula against Missouri, and so on, because I think they answered the call, Lindsay. This defense looked like the defense we talked about all summer.
Yeah, it feels like if this defense plays the way that they played on Saturday, right? Not gaudy sack totals, but just generally being able to disrupt the passing game, being able to disrupt the running game. Auburn's going to be in just about every single game that they play. I don't see an offense in the SEC that's going to face that Auburn defense that we saw on Saturday and just blow them out. Like you're going to have busts. You're going to have issues. It happens with every single team. But that is a classic Auburn defense that we've had in the past. Some of the great ones we think about. They have the potential to be in that conversation with the way that they can do just about anything, whether it's stopping the run, pass, disrupting the pass, forcing turnovers, scoring on them despite the officials calling it back, all that kind of stuff. Like they're good in just about every single respect.
Yeah. Without Jay Crawford, obviously. And so that's obviously exciting and nice. We'll see if he's able to come back against Texas A&M. They, I think, have better receivers than Oklahoma, but they don't have as good of a quarterback. But I am a Marcel Reed truther. I think he is fantastic. I think he's very underrated, and I think he presents problems. Not as consistent from an accuracy standpoint, but when he is on, there are very few players in college football better than him when he's on. And Auburn kind of saw a nice combination of both in that quadruple overtime win against Texas A&M last year, where he had moments where he was on and he had moments where he wasn't. And so did Notre Dame when they beat Notre Dame a few weeks ago. So they're going to have their hands full. I hate that they had a bye week and we were playing a very physical game on the road in Norman, and we've got to go to College Station. That stinks. But we all knew that. We all knew that going into the season, that this stretch of 3 games is awful. And if you can find a way to win one of them, 9-3 is totally on the table. You got to find a way to do it. I thought Oklahoma, I still believe this. That I thought Oklahoma was the most winnable game of the 3. I still believe that just because of the how each game is situated. I think Georgia, after a bye week, is probably more gettable than the game this week. I think it's a big deal that Auburn went on the road, played a physical game while A&M was sitting at home recovering, and we have to then turn around and go back to College Station. Like, I think a lot of folks are overlooking how brutal that is.
The travel's a bigger thing than we're all talking about. And then the health discrepancy, to your point of not getting beat up for a week.
We were already banged up.
Yeah, exactly. We're already banged up. We didn't have a week to be off. I do think that being on the road, I know people don't, for some reason, have the respect of Texas A&M like they do in LSU, like they do some of these other schools that they're known for their environments. I do think just the sheer hassle of trying to get to College Station, and then the sheer size of that crowd is like, I would rather face them. Obviously, I mean, everybody would say neutral site versus away, but I think the odds would be significantly different in a neutral site or away. College Station is not easy to get to.
Yeah,
and it's not easy to be in there in that stadium.
I was thinking about this last night, actually, because you articulated better than I was thinking it in my brain. But I do think Auburn may overlook College Station because we had early success there when they came into the conference. And I wonder if that impacts how we as a fan base view that venue.
I could see that. And also, like, being able to, and I think when you see things like the Johnny Manziel Texas A&M teams and Auburn being able to beat them,
right.
kind of to your point, elaborate on your point. There's a little bit of a mentally, you're like, oh yeah, no, even their best possible teams were better than them. And it's like, that's not necessarily how it
We
works.
did go to the national championship that year.
Yeah. Like and that's not always
Right.
that's not always going to be the expectation going forward, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So take it for what it's worth, but happy with the defense. To get back to our original point, I think it passed the test. I think it gives you a shot like last year's defense. I think it gave you a shot in every game. Can the offense catch up? A lot of that's on Jackson Arnold. So we'll see. Lindsey Crosby, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
I'm on social media at Crosby Baseball, wrapping up the Win a Brave season over at bravestoday.com. And then all of the Auburn baseball content, the Barn Auburn, going to be getting into fall camp soon. Hopefully some notes coming from that.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Please like the video. Please subscribe. And if you're tuned in on audio, please subscribe and leave a review. It helps the show out a ton. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.